Hi everyone, I'm Kristen with Junior Achievement, the Education and Events Manager, and I'm super excited today to have Sheena Harvey. She's going to be talking on or being part of our Career Speaker Series, and she's just going to tell you a little bit about herself all the way from growing up to where she is today, and then talk a little bit about how the coronavirus has affected her and her career and her personal life too. So, Sheena, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Right, perfect. Hello, everybody. I'm Sheena Harvey. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, moved to Las Vegas probably around the age 9.5. And with that being said, in Las Vegas for middle school and high school. And then after high school, I decided that I wanted to attend college at the University of Nevada, Reno. So when I was 18, I decided to move away from my family, not too far. Vegas is Southern Nevada. Reno is Northern Nevada. So I wanted to get away to get to the point to where I could have a little sense of independence and not have to really, call home for everything. So so glad I made the decision to come up to Reno. It's been a great, great experience. Though I didn't have family here for about 15 years, I was able to get involved in the community and really meet some amazing people that have allowed me to call them family. So it's just been a great journey from starting in Kansas City. I still have family back there, of course, and then family in Las Vegas, but Reno, Sparks, kind of the area is home to me. With that being said too, so I've been blessed with the opportunity to attend higher education. So I completed my bachelor's degree in interior design, which everybody giggles at that because they're like, what? You're in sports now. So what happened with that, I worked as a student worker at the campus fitness center, and I always loved sports. So I actually went to the University of Nevada. Part of that was me trying out for the basketball team. So I didn't make it, the women's basketball team. So with that being said, I kind of wanted to still be around fitness and recreational sports. So with that start as a student, I kind of fell in love with it and ended up becoming a professional. So I'm a professional collegiate fitness and recreational sport professional. And with that being said, I've worked my way up from starting as a member services coordinator and then working as an intramural and events coordinator. And then now in these last 2 years, I've been serving as the associate director for the fitness and recreational sports department at the University of Nevada, Reno. So it's been a long time coming, I think. I hope that I get a chance to continue to create these programs and services to encourage students to be a part of fitness and sports while they're enrolled. Not every student gets to go off and play professional basketball or football or baseball. But what we provide is that service to where students can still engage in competitive sports and in fitness while they're enrolled in college. And we do feel like we're a really big part of the recruitment, retainment, and graduation of students. So the best part of my job, I would say, is just getting to work with college students and help develop them to get them ready to go off to their careers. So that's a little bit about me.
That is amazing. This isn't actually one of our normal questions, but I know you're really involved on campus. And when we do our lessons in the classroom, we kind of encourage volunteerism and just taking part in those extracurriculars. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects and clubs that you're involved in and why you think that's important?
So great question. So club involvement, I think, is one of the most amazing parts about engaging, not only just in college, but also to just even you can start in your youth when you're younger. The one thing my grandmother told me is always give your time to somebody else. So my experience with clubs as a student, I was in the Black Student Organization, started off as a member, became a club officer. So I worked my way up from treasurer, and then I was a vice president. And I was actually the president of the Black Student Organization on campus. And what we did as a club, not only did we have events and things like that that were kind of related to our culture, but a big thing, we wanted to make sure that the campus community understood what the Black culture was. So we would always make sure that we were collaborating with different groups on campus, and then also inviting administrators and such like that. So what it did, I think it allowed us as Black students, which were a very small population of students of color on campus, what it allowed us to do is to get into these spaces. So, getting student worker jobs and, Office of Prospective Students, or working in the Office of Student Engagement, or working at the fitness center. So I think club involvement not only allows you to really gain and hone on those leadership skills in your young self, but at that same time, it gives you that little bit of responsibility, and you become like an advocate, not only for your people, but then also too for the campus and the campus community. So when I got a little bit older on campus, I became an advisor for clubs. So I actually ended up advising the Black Student Organization. And then I also ended up advising a group called Sisters on a Move, so SOAM. It was women, like a women's empowerment type of organization, to where what the club did, which I loved, it was focused on, yes, the social piece, but also the academic piece. So there were like, study sessions to where these students in this organization would come together and actually do their work together. And if you had the same major, you could get help from somebody. So I think they really focused on just that cultural piece and more so the academics. And then later on, I actually got a chance to help create a club on campus with one of my really good friends, Gregette Simmons. We created this mentorship type club, and it was called the Queen Connection. So with this club, what we did, we found some young, strong women leaders, and what we did is we kind of just gave them the shell for it. So what happened out of that, there was this pipeline created of the college young women mentored middle school girls, and then we mentored the college students. So we found a group of women on campus that were in just different fields, and we matched our college young women to professionals on campus, which is really cool. And then we would come together and do some pretty awesome things. So in a sense, thinking of this club involvement, it doesn't necessarily have to be what I did, but just making sure that you're getting interested and connected to people that have the same core values as you and kind of some of the same views, which kind of gives you that reassurance, okay, I'm doing this and it's worth something and it matters. So that's kind of my club involvement on campus.
Okay, now we're going to go back to high school. I know that your major didn't match up with what you ended up going into. So when you were in high school, what did you see yourself doing at this time in your life?
So in high school, I really had this idea, this plan that I was going to go into business. And I think it may have been because of living kind of in the Las Vegas area, and there were all these casinos, and just thinking of, okay, if I'm going to be here and stay here, which I didn't end up doing, I want to learn business, because I just feel like that would be the industry that maybe a little bit of job security. So in high school, the classes that I took, and I went to El Dorado High School in Las Vegas, and they allowed us to kind of focus our tracks on, okay, this is kind of what I think I want to do in college. So kind of a college preparatory thing. So my focus was in business and marketing and accounting. And then when I got to the university, I was like, oh, accounting is really hard. So let's see what else is out there. So I had an opportunity to coming out of high school, and I played basketball too. So that was one of my things to where I wanted to play, college basketball. But I think the first year experience class that I took, and hopefully they're doing that on the high school level too, to kind of really help you do this exploratory piece with careers to see what you're good at, and then maybe what you have a passion for. And I think ultimately when we think about our careers, we hope that those two things connect. So I've been really blessed to work in sports. And like I said, my background in high school was mostly business. And then I came into college and I wanted to be an interior designer. I wanted to design restaurants. Like that was my dream. And then getting back to what I love, which was sports, and then being able to make a career out of it. So it's an interesting kind of journey, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it shows that it's okay to not know in high school, or to get to college and change things up. So, will you tell me a little bit about what a typical day looks like for you at work, and then really before and after work too? Because one of the things we talk about is knowing your priorities. And if it's just to make a lot of money, then there are ways to do that. But if it's working with people you love and having time to do the things you love, then you need to take a different path.
So I think what is being kind of spewed out there, of course, is getting to the point where there's this thing called work-life balance, which I don't think it exists. And I'm not saying that in like a negative sense, but it's really hard to balance it all, right? So a typical day for me, pre-COVID would be, because I'm actually enrolled in school too. So I'm a doctoral student, so working on my last degree that I can get ever. And so for me, I would get up early and attend to my studies. So with me in my role, because I work in sports, recreational sports and fitness, I oversee those two areas. I get to go in a little bit later than everybody, so I stay later. So my morning time would be for me, for my academics, and then I go into work probably about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. And with that being said, because I indirectly supervise everything, I kind of go check on everything. So I get a chance to kind of walk through the facility. We have a 4-story, 108,000 square footage facility at the university. So I get my steps in. So I get to kind of engage with the student staff. I'm always checking on my student staff. I love our student staff. And then I get into my emails. So with my role, I'm titled as an administrative faculty member. So different from academia faculty. So thinking of professors and such and things on campus, with being an administrative faculty member, you kind of wear a ton of hats. Because not only are you I'm responsible for things that happen at the fitness center. If there was a student to come into my office that I knew from a club or from just being on campus and they needed help with something, it's my job as an administrator to get them help or to lead them in the right direction. So that's one of the favorite part of my jobs, that it's kind of not written in my job description, but I have that ability to help people. And I think that's ultimately what I wanted to do with my career. And then because I work at a fitness center, I get to work out at some point of the day. So that's the cool part. And then I go back into my office and my work, and then I get to meet with my student supervisor. So at my department, fitness and recreational sports, we rely heavily on student workers. We have about 120, and they work in the areas of facility operations, intramural sports officiating, social media, and then we also have student lifeguards. So in the sense of, like I said, helping maintain just the operations, we're open from 6 a.m. to midnight during the weeks. So it's a long day. So my days are long, but it's pretty cool that I get to pop out for class. So in that morning time, talked about going to class, then getting into work, and then I get to take my part of my lunch and part of time that I can make up later to go to sit in class for about 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I get to sit into class, and then I get to go back to work and then kind of help out and make sure the programs are running the way they're supposed to. And then I go home, and then I study, and then I do it all over again the next day.
All be worth it. Well, how has your life, because that was in a typical before March 13th kind of day, how has your life changed both professionally and socially?
So I'll start with socially. So it's been kind of, I think, awesome, because what I think the pandemic and COVID and being quarantined made us all do is kind of stop and kind of reevaluate. So I've been doing more video chats with family members and, with friends, and kind of really taking the time to listen. So I think the social piece it's hard because I'm such a people person, and I love to be there, talking and doing hand motions and all these great things. But I do understand it's important for us to stay safe. So socially, it's been kind of a challenge, because I am a social butterfly and I like talking and I like listening and just laughing. And on the professional side, because I work in sports, that it was pretty tough at first. And what it made me feel like is that my job didn't matter as much, because everything got shut down. And as we were still rolling out phases, and in this community, we're in a particular phase, and a big part of my job isn't back yet. So for me, I really kind of had to reassure myself, I guess, that my job is important, and what, team sports are important, and these students do care about it, but it's just something we can't do right now. So the big change is that I only go in twice a week for a couple of hours. And that's more so to gain access to files and to actually see people, because our fitness center is open. Our 50% capacity is we can take 650 people at one time. So that's how big our facility is. That's our 50% and under. So we let people move. So that's the big change. Just I'm not at work as much, but I try to more so stay connected to my co-workers, my colleagues, and then also to people on campus. So that's the biggest thing, making that extra effort to be connected to everybody still. So that's the hardest part.
Okay. And mostly today we're talking about careers, but another thing we talk about with junior achievement is financial literacy. So if you were going to give students some advice on how to prepare for something like this, which we could have never expected, or any kind of emergency, I guess, financially, how would you tell them to save?
I think the most challenging piece for finances, and also to financial literacy, because I didn't learn a lot of it until I was in college. Kind of in high school, you get sometimes, if you're afforded to get an allowance, a certain amount, if you're not, or even just understanding the value of a dollar and understanding that can go a long way. So I think that the advice that I would give is, if you have the ability to save, always put something away. And then I think a lot of times, as you see something, you want it. I think a lot of times I've had to tell myself in my younger years, okay, if you still want it in a week, then you really wanted it. But if you can go a week and then you forgot about whatever it was, you probably didn't want that. And then also too, I think if you are afforded the ability to, not eat out so much. And then even now, just with the pandemic and COVID, I think it's forced people to be more sustainable in the sense of whether it be food or even clothing and just thinking of all of those things. So I think the advice really comes as if depending on what you have and holding on to that and not really spending because like I said, when we were quarantined, you really couldn't go anywhere. But then there's Amazon and then there's, all these things to where you can still purchase or, do pickups and go pick stuff up and get stuff dropped off. I did think it's really hard to know that because, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people won't get their jobs back. There's a lot of businesses that won't be able to come back from this. And just thinking of that, right? So you're thinking of, okay, and then even with on the college level, there's a lot of people that are like, well, I don't want to go to the next level of schooling if it's going to be the same price if I can't physically be on campus. So there's a lot of ways that you can save, but at the same time, I think the financial literacy piece comes from just knowing the value of a dollar, but then also too, just understanding what's going to be important for you and not thinking of the frivolous things that you could buy or just to have and hold, thinking of the things you need versus the things you want.
I like it. Well, that is really it. Do you have any other words of wisdom for our students?
Um, mm, I think what I come across a lot, and I get blessed to work with all age groups from young to wise. I love the little ones, of course, but then of course high school students are amazing. With that being said, I think that every student should realize that there is something about you that is amazing. You're you and that's your power. So just know that you may see somebody else and they may have something that you think you want, but you don't know, the that's on the surface, thinking of these materialistic things and all that. So I think with being a high school student in this day and age is a challenge because there's always this perception of what you're supposed to be, right? So we all kind of grow at our different rates. We all kind of learn things at different rates. Don't be afraid to ask for help, knowing that there's a lot of people out there to support you and that you can make it. Anything that you think that you want to do, it is possible. That's the main thing I think a lot of students just have to realize that there's nothing essentially maybe that could stop you, but at the same time, it's just knowing that you have the ability and you have the help and the support that's going to get you to where you want to be. So that's what I would say to our amazing students.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I can't wait to share this with our students.
Awesome.